Hello and welcome to my channel, GreenLion Goddess Tarot, and this is your reading for the 5th of June. So let's see what is coming in. It is a day where Venus has moved into the final degree of Aries, Jupiter has moved into the final degree of Gemini. These final degrees of the zodiac, the 29 degree point, is considered to be a power degree, an heretic degree. It's a very powerful degree that represents endings, completions. We saw that yesterday in yesterday's reading, that it felt like there was a lot of Venus in that reading yesterday, and it was like being able to put a challenge behind you, but to be very brave, where Venus in Aries is very brave. But Venus is preparing to move into her home sign in Taurus. So let's see what's going on. The Seven of Wands. Okay. The Seven of Wands is holding the fort. Holding the fort, putting the challenges, warding off the challenges with the Seven of Wands, getting yourself into a better position. It might feel that you're being a little bit defensive, or you need to defend something or look after something or protect something while you're making a big choice and decision here. So the energy that's happening today on the 5th is Mercury is squaring the nodes, and this is the choice and decision that's coming in with the Lovers card. It can represent a story that's coming up for you. And this could be an old story, because we're looking at belief systems here now. Look at all these major arcanas coming through here. And that makes a lot of sense with the reading that we had yesterday, with the Strength card being the only major arcana. The Strength card can often come in just as you're preparing. And here's another one with the Moon. You're preparing for something big in your life. And with Mercury squaring the nodes, it's something in our minds, a story, an old way of thinking, an old belief system that is somehow being challenged or challenging where our soul wants to go next. So we're seeing that with the node, the Moon card, which represents the North Node in Pisces. So where is our soul growth lesson? Where does our soul want to go next? And it feels like with this Gemini energy of the Lovers, which is Mercury is in Gemini, it's in its home sign at the moment, so it's super strong. You might notice a lot of new mental activity happening, conversations, planning, all this sort of stuff happening, or for somebody around you as well. And the Emperor wants to be in control, but the Judgment said it's time to let go of control. It's something that you're letting go of here, which is the ending. So we're seeing Venus in Aries. The final degree of Emperor is the Aries sign. So we're seeing all the signs coming out, and the Hierophant is the Taurus energy. So she's preparing to move into Taurus from the Emperor to the Hierophant. But there's something with the Judgment card. The angels are heralding very strong messages from the angels here in both the Lovers card and the Judgment card. The angels are speaking to you, so messages from the divine. You're receiving the messages, which is very mercurial. It's Mercury receiving these messages and getting the message that in order between her moving from Aries into Taurus, there definitely needs to be a sense of a day of reckoning, a review process, a letting go of something, an old story. These characters here need to pass up and over. So that's a very South Node kind of energy and story as well with the letting go process. You're at the very end. You're about to step into something new, a new rebirth. So what is it that you need to release and let go of? The Emperor energy is very bold and confident and strong and wants to make something a concrete reality. It feels like there's a big choice here to be made, but with the Moon card, it feels like it's not necessarily clear, because Mercury will be squaring the nodes. Even though up in the divine realms, it's clear because the nodes are all about our soul's energy. But on the human realm, which is Mercury, it's unclear, it's uncertain. But you'll be getting the message here, and the Hierophant is your soul message, your soul energy coming through. And it is about established belief systems. So perhaps there is a message here to let go of something that feels like an established belief system, to let go of some kind of old story or control in some way. That with the Moon card, this could have been related, this could be around some kind of subconscious belief that is coming in. So just be aware of what conversations you're having with people, what sort of choices and decisions are coming up on this day, and who you're talking to for a start, and the nature of those conversations, and where you have wanted to be in control and haven't been able to surrender to this process of letting go. And it really feels like we're being asked to let go of some kind of old story or old belief system where there has been underlying issues with control and wanting to be in control, and surrendering to a higher energy, the soul growth energy is the answer here. But yet the human parts of us, our ego, our indecision, our mind, the stories and the belief systems and that we've been telling ourselves, especially subconscious beliefs, and they're the hardest ones to move on from because they lurk under the surface there like the moon. But you can notice them because they are patterns in your life. It's like, oh, why is this always happening to me? I'm always making this choice and I'm always getting this result. And if it's not a result that you consciously want, there's some kind of subconscious belief or patterning underneath it that you can work with and change. And so the moon card speaks of things not being clear, but also illusions, because it can be what kind of belief systems have been illusionary that haven't been serving you anymore. And there could be a very strong choice coming up around that where you are being asked to really trust in the divine, trust in your soul, and release the illusions or even deception that has come in around some belief systems that are no longer serving you. So it could be confusing as we're moving through this and working through this, but it also feels like we're at a very significant pivot point here where this choice could lead to some kind of significant new rebirth or soul growth energy that feels very new and different to us. And it's almost like we need to release a little bit of what's going on inside our mind, the stories inside our mind. That could be very connected to ego as well. But it feels like things, once we release this and let this go, and there is this sense that things can stabilize after that, and then Venus moves into Taurus, and we will start receiving the blessings of Venus moving into her home sign of Taurus, or one of her home signs anyway. Wanting to feel in control of this choice and decision is going to be an interesting thing. Who is controlling the choice and decision? Who wants to be in control? It feels like there's more than one person involved here. And ultimately, on a higher level, it feels like there's a clearing out of an old story, an old belief system that is confusing because all of it, like if you put more than one person's belief systems and stories and maybe even add another person in there and that all starts whirling together, then it's like, I don't know what to believe. Who believes what? Who's making the right choice and decision here? Who's the authority here? How do we trust this process? And it can get very, very confusing, like I said. But ultimately, the Hierophant requests that some kind of new order when it comes to an established belief system is being created here. So it might be a little bit of negotiation, a conversation, running through this in many ways. It's challenging. It might be challenging the story or challenging the belief system in some way. You might not necessarily even land at the answer or even be able to feel like you can make a choice and decision, but it's going to reach some kind of pressure point where it feels like making a different choice or even analysing and reviewing the choices that you made are going to be really important. This is where you can step into some kind of new timeline as well. So it feels like very significant, even if it's not super clear, just to understand what's coming up and what you're working through, and to understand what is being asked of you to release an old timeline, an old story that is being challenged by these new soul growth lessons, and to surrender some kind of control. And there may be this energy of somebody sacrificing or letting go of a belief system or control. That can come through with this as well. So the most important thing with this as well is not to start blaming other people or pointing the finger at other people with this. It's about us taking personal responsibility and just understanding that there is a divine energy, a soul energy communicating with us, working with us now, and where is the parts of our minds that don't understand that are still holding on to the old timeline, the old story. So it's an interesting one to work through, but we are being challenged to work through it for our highest soul evolution. So that is the reading for the 5th of June. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Love to read your comments, and take care.